how'd the last week of practice go?
When did we last play? Saturday. So we've had a couple days which have been uneventful, so to speak. Exam time kind of cuts into any kind of meaningful work for a lot of these kids. But we managed to get a few things done, considering that, between Paige and Nika and AZ and Aubrey, then Aaliyah missed the day, and then she was back full today. So it's been kind of choppy, but we managed to get a few things done, and I guess that's all that matters.
Nina said that it feels like it's already February or March, and that you guys have played 20 games already. Do you feel that way too?
I bet you it does, right? The season's just barely getting started, but the games have been so haphazard in their scheduling that there seems to be 3 times as many practices as there are games, and all the practice in the world doesn't get you better at games. You need to play a lot of games. And now we have one Sunday, then we don't play for 10 days. And then I think we have 10 games in the next 15 days, something like that. So I think this break after Sunday will do a lot of people a lot of good to get away and get recharged, get their batteries recharged.
How was it to have Nafisa out there, and what do you think she was able to provide to your players?
I think Feast just wanted to break a sweat, you could see, obviously, that she has certain special qualities about her, I think the players were, were pretty impressed and pretty amazed that, someone could do some of the things that she did, given what state she's in. But I don't think there's anybody that has anything but incredible amount of respect for Feast, and I think the kids were pretty pumped to see her.
How are they not afraid to hit her?
We're a very gentle group.
I'll box that as it is.
We don't necessarily, break any eggs when we play, so to speak. So I think Feast was safe with this group.
Do you have any updates on Aubrey, AZ? I guess those, I'm not sure if Nika also would be somewhat close to being reevaluated.
Yeah, all the things that they said were that it would be after Christmas. So that hasn't changed. Aubrey's had more tests the last couple of days. She gave it a shot for a day or two, and it just didn't respond. So I can't even give you what a timeline looks like as far as Aubrey's concerned. The other two, according to our medical people, are coming along great, and this last break will be really good for them. And after that, hopefully we can start working them back in.
With Aubrey, is it just back now? Is the ankle and leg still an issue?
No, right now the thing that's giving her the most problem is her back.
How's Paige? You yelled at her to sit down already today. Is she already champing at the bit to?
Yeah, Yeah, she wants to be, she wants to be a part of it, and I don't know what's worse, sitting at home, brooding about not being here, or sitting here watching and feeling even worse that she's that close to it and can't be a part of it.
So what are some ways that she can get engaged and even improve her IQ, improve her, awareness on the floor by not being able to play?
Most players, if they're not playing, always comment to me after they get back that they learned a lot by watching. It's what you're watching, it's how you're watching that has a lot to do with it. And Paige is pretty perceptive when it comes to what other players are trying to do, what we're trying to do, and it's not the best way to learn because you'd rather be playing, but for sure when you sit out, you do get a completely different perspective. Aaliyah sat out one day. She was telling me today, she was amazed at some of the things that she saw, and she goes, I can see why you're frustrated. I said, oh, there's a glimmer of hope.
In the press release, it said for Paige, 6 to 8 weeks recovery. Do you have any kind of clarification when return to action might be?
No. I don't know anything about anything. I just know 6 to 8 weeks, whatever that means.
What does it mean? Does it mean
I'm not a
that-
doctor. I have no idea. What do you want to know?
Is that when she can return to practice? Is that?
I don't know.
I'm just wondering if they've told you anything.
Nope.
Okay.
What can your team do to show you that they're not just relying on Paige, that they're not just a one-team player? You have so much talent on this team, and without Paige, you're smiling. What can they do to show you, and have they done any of that to show you that they are stepping up?
I don't think it comes right away. I don't think it's something that immediately shows itself. If it did, we wouldn't have looked so bad in the Georgia Tech game, would we? So the real test will come after we've played a couple games. I thought there was a huge improvement in the UCLA game than there was, from the Georgia Tech game. And it's been a lot. It's been overwhelming because there's not just Paige. Because if it was just Paige and we had AZ and Nika, that's 2 guards that can take a lot of the pressure off the guards we already have. Mm-hmm. But it's 3 guards. So the overwhelming enormity of it is what's got them down. That there's no relief. And there's nobody, we can't go on the waiver wire and pick up somebody as a free agent. So the reality is going to sink in little by little that this is it. This is what we've got. And there's glimmers in practice of, like Dorcas stepped up pretty good, right? He had a really good game, and he was horrible in the Georgia Tech game, and she had a really good game against UCLA. Caroline didn't play well against Georgia Tech and played really well against UCLA. So I think little by little, they'll start to get a feel for what the new normal is for a while.
They still seem like you said, it gets them down a little, but like they come out here and talk to us and they're still very upbeat and confident in themselves and confident in the team and confident in Caroline and just themselves still. Like it seems like they're adjusting.
Yeah, if you're a competitor, I mean that's what you have to do. There's really no other choice, right? It can't be let's postpone the games until those guys are ready to go. They have to go out and they have to play. the game doesn't look the same, the team doesn't look the same because things don't flow as smoothly. So things are a little more choppy. And that takes time for it to settle in, you know. So far we haven't been able to get, but even before those guys went down, we were having, a difficult time trying to incorporate everybody's best game into the lineup, I don't know that we've had one game in all the games that we played when they were healthy where everyone seemed to be playing their A game. It was too much, too early. So, this is what it is. This is what it's going to look like for a little while.
Geno, Dan 10 minutes ago was a couple hundred feet away discussing the same thing, injuries. I don't know how much you guys cross paths and chat. Have you had any moment with him like, man, you believe this?
Yeah, I did. I talked to him after the games in Newark, and it was a big game for both teams, to be able to go down there and play two pretty good teams and not play necessarily your A game, your best game, but figure out a way to grind out 2 wins. Wins are wins, and they're hard to get. It's a weird thing of nature that the guys who seem to get hurt are the guys you're counting on the most. It seems, right? And then everybody's got to fill a role that they may not be quite ready to fill yet. And now you've got to depend on them, and they feel the pressure, and so yeah, we're in some ways, we're both dealing with the same kind of issues, different but same. I think they're a little deeper than we are. They're a little more experienced than we are. They have a few more perimeter players than we do. And I know that they're getting a couple of their guys back fairly quickly, if not, this weekend. I don't think there's any team that's not dealing with stuff like this. You're not, no one's immune from it.
Is there one thing that you think you can rely on right now, Geno? One thing that the team is going to bring, whether it's defense or something else, over the next few weeks?
I thought defensively we were pretty good in the Notre Dame game. I thought defensively we were pretty good in the Georgia Tech game. And defensively I thought we were pretty good in the UCLA game. So that seems to have been pretty much a constant. I've always said if we play good defense, we always have a chance. And then if the ball goes in, then depending on how much it goes in, how often it goes in, depends on whether it's an easier game to win or a harder game to win. But at least with your defense, you have a chance. And, we've always been a really good defensive team. We've always worked hard at it. So we'll always give ourselves a chance. It's just that I think kids by nature, if they have trouble scoring, it gets in their head a little bit, Now there's so much pressure to get stops. And that's what we did to teams for the longest time, for the last 20-some years. They knew we were going to score. And now they got to get us stopped. But they know we're going to score. And now because they know we're going to score 6 possessions in a row, puts pressure on them to have to make shots. So kids that normally, if they're up 12, shooting threes, like, yeah, I make these all the time. Well, now against us, when you're down 12, they don't go in so easily, do that. So defense gives you a chance, and it's been really good for us so far, except for the Arkansas game. That was probably the only game where defensively I thought we were not good.
I'm curious, amid the limited practice time this week, how you've been preparing the group to deal with the type of defensive pressure that Louisville brings and has brought pretty consistently this season.
Yeah, probably not the ideal matchup that you would want given the situation that we're in, right? But again, it's a good opportunity. It's a good challenge. You've had years where something like this wouldn't bother you one bit, you know? You'd have Nafisa bring the ball off the floor, or you'd have Stewie or Tuck bring the ball off the floor. We don't have that luxury. So, and there's a chance that they could wear out our guards pretty quickly. So we've got to make sure that we are pretty judicious about how we attack them, how we use our timeouts, how we use our substitution patterns. Because just running up and down with them and playing the same way they want to play, probably not the winning edge for us. But coming out of this game, all of our players will be better ball handlers because of it. All of our players will have a better handle of pressure because of this game. You know, you can do it in practice, but until you do it in the game, you really don't know if you can do it. You know.
Has Dorka kept up?
Brooke had a great day today.
Yeah.
Brooke had a great day today. She was really good. I think that game gave her a tremendous amount of confidence. Tremendous amount of confidence. You know, it really, really helped her kind of feel comfortable with spots on the floor that, you know, she had asked me last week, as a matter of fact. I feel lost out there. You know, I almost said, well, get on lost. You know, like, what do you mean you feel lost? Like, you were first team all Big Ten. Where did you go to get your points? Well, I'd like to go here, I'd like to go there, I'd like to go there. So were there things in our offense that are preventing you from going to those places? No. I said, well, I'm not the brightest guy. I said, but I got a solution. Go to those places, see what happens. And it did. And she feels comfortable now. Like, you know, I solved her problem. I don't know. Thanks, Dorka, but I didn't have anything to do with it.
Is it just the idea of that it's going to take time to make those adjustments,
Mm-hmm.
and especially people like us who just assume we see stats, we see highlights, we're like, oh, this is what she's like.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be applied immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that idea of that it takes
Yeah.
work and time. You can't just add yourself to an equation.
No, you can't. And look, whatever you did anywhere else doesn't necessarily apply here. You know? No, you know, no disrespect to anybody anywhere. Whatever you did anywhere else doesn't apply here. You know? What you're expected to do here and the pressures that you're under here, self-imposed pressure a lot of times, you know? Say, hey, I'm playing, you know, school A, B, C, D. Then you go, wake up every morning, I'm playing at UConn. All of a sudden, that changes things. And it's not an easy, that suit doesn't fit. It's right off the rack. There's got to be some adjustments made to it, you know? And everybody handles it differently. Not the easiest thing.
What do you want to see from Caroline? On Sunday, you talked about needing another ball handler. Obviously, she has the ball in her hands a good amount. Guard depth is an issue.
Yeah. If you notice, Caroline plays in spurts, right? Mm-hmm. And they're good ones. And now, you know, we need more consistency. So I'm hopeful that, you know, with her getting so many minutes, there's a comfort level of, you know, I don't put so much pressure on myself to be perfect. Like, it's weird with these kids, you know, like you talk to them and there's a lot of this, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't think I've ever gotten mad at a freshman for making a mistake. I get mad more at them for not doing stuff. My seniors, I want to, you know, when they make mental mistakes. But our freshmen, I don't understand. You know, like Gene Hackman and Berkey. I don't understand. I find saying myself that every day. I don't understand. I gave you one job to do. Score points. You know? And you would think that alleviates a lot of the pressure. Except that if you miss 3 shots, you go, coach wants me to score points. I just shot 3 air balls. So I don't know what the hell to say, other than just, with all the minutes that you get, do what you're good at.
She's pretty persistent though, Caroline.
She is.
If she goes through like a bad stretch, she doesn't give up.
Doesn't affect her that much. Doesn't affect her that, which is good and bad. I'm glad she can bounce back. I'd like for it to bother her a little bit, but it doesn't. She's got a pretty stoic approach to the game, and maybe that's why she can make big plays, big shots when we really need them so far in her young career.
She gets through the bad spurts and back to the good spurts.
Yeah. As long as we can get her the minutes and get her rebounding the ball well and get her, playing pretty decent defense and just, patch it up here and there. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Kristen, a little bit of E, a little bit of Caroline, and they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do it. And our post players are going to have to handle the ball a little bit more and be better ball handlers.
Where's Kristen been at this week? I know Saturday she had to kind of pull herself out of a little rut.
Yeah.
Is it all mental with her?
Yeah, I would probably say so. I would say that you get into these slumps and you have to play your way out of them. And again, if you're a senior and you played a lot of basketball, it's not like you haven't gone through these before during your career. And you usually know what you have to do to get yourself out of it. Yeah. And it's been a pretty good week for her. But again, we'll see in the game.
With Kristen, what's worked? I know she had that kind of shooting slump back in junior year, but what's worked with her kind of historically from your perspective to help her out of those slumps?
Don't be obsessed with shooting and scoring. Put the focus on other things. Play good defense, rebound the ball. Be a good facilitator. And there's other things to basketball than just scoring points. So if you're not shooting the ball well and you're obsessed with fixing that, you're letting a lot of other things that you could be doing kind of go by the wayside. And the more you work on those things, that's get to the free throw line, get an offensive rebound and score, get a steal. So there's lots of ways to do it. You just got to take your mind and expand it a little bit rather than narrow it. It's easy to do when you're struggling. So.
Would you say it's that same kind of mental game that's going on with Aaliyah right now? Or you said she took a day off this week?
Say it again?
Would you say it's the same kind of mentalness that's going on with Kristen, the same that's going on with Aaliyah? I know you said she took a day off earlier this week.
Yeah, I mean, she tweaked her. She had a hard fall in the UCLA game. I don't know, man. It's 2022. I don't think anybody's in their right mind after the last couple of years. So you could pretty much say that that's the case for every single kid playing at every level.
I'm curious as to what you saw in the UCLA game when it came to the chemistry between Avina and Olivia. Those pocket passes on pick and roll, just sort of their feel for each other, and how building on that is going to be really important going forward.
Yeah, well, we put in a couple wrinkles to get Liv easy 15-footers, and she made a couple. And we're going to keep doing that. Same with Dorka. And he's a, you know, she's the only kind of explosive guard that we have now. She's the only dynamic guard that we have right now with the ball. So she's got to make those plays. And you know, those shots are going to be available the entire game for our post players. And if they make a couple of them, then people have to come out and guard them. And we really need that to happen, because we can't get to the basket enough to get to the free throw line. So one thing will help the other thing. The first thing will help the second thing. You know, the second thing.
Is the biggest challenge with Louisville just the pressure that they can put on your guards? I mean, even if you weren't short in guard play.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they're, you know, that's the way they've chosen to play this year. You know, they have a lot of depth, they have a lot of guards. So they're taking advantage of that, you know. And they're causing a lot of turnovers, and they're making the game chaotic. And you've got to be able to play and handle the chaos. And I'm sure there'll be times when we do, and I'm sure there'll be times when we don't.